Hey guys, and welcome to the Sonic Squeeze. I'm Kid Campbell, your host. This is Gareth Grigg. This is James. Today we're going to be talking about Nero. Nero have a new album out. It's alright. Can't complain. Basically, Nero is a British electronic music trio composed of Daniel Stevens, Joe Ray, and Alana Watson. They released their debut album in 2011, Welcome Reality. It hit number 1 on the UK album charts, and it became a kind of instant classic with me and Gareth. I think
with more than just me and Gareth.
Well, I don't know if you've even listened to like any of their stuff before this. You must have, because they had like huge radio play at the time.
I heard their songs, but I didn't like listen to the album.
We still listen to some of them like now.
It's excellent.
It stood up to the tests of time.
It's an excellent album, and it had, at the time when dubstep was booming, it had some big hits.
Yeah. Well, me and Gareth had kind of given up hope that they'd ever bring out a new album because it's been so long, but it happened, and I'm just kind of amazed.
Yeah. I had the excitingness of just getting over my excitement of Paul Robinson Worlds, which was another excellent album, and wondering like, what will he do next? Because it was such a new sound and so interesting for him, and I was like, what will he do next? And then the first thing he comes out with is he's like, new remix.
Yeah. And
it turns out it was of The Thrill, which was one of the first singles from this album.
Oh yeah.
And that was actually how I found out that they were doing a new album, is through Paul's remix. But it was, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it came out when dubstep was like at its highest point of popularity. Like a few months previous to this album, Skrillex had just dropped Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. But that album, we're still talking about the previous album, not talking about the one we're going to talk about yet.
Reality.
We're giving you some context, baby. Chill. It kind of touched on that bro step thing, but it kept it with a pop vibe.
It never pushed the sort of heaviness of the sort of whole screechy dubstep thing too far.
Are we talking like 2009?
2011.
2011.
Yeah. Scary Monsters Nice Sprites 2010, like late 2010.
Right, okay.
2010, 2011 was like the peak of dubstep. Until like 2012, and then 2013 started to drop.
Okay.
Well, back to the album at hand, which is Between Two Worlds. Circles, which was the first song that dropped. The second the bass gets going on that one, I was like, wow, they're back. They've done it.
I don't know how much you remember it, but this song, like, I love this song as well when I hear it. I was like, this is so Nero. And I looked back, and I think it's so Nero because it's so similar to My Eyes.
Really?
Their last album, yeah. It is just like a sort of bigger My Eyes. Like, the bass is really similar sound.
Sorry, every time you're saying My Eyes, I'm just like, it's really like My Eyes. It's like bigger.
It's that good.
Than My Eyes.
It was very similar. I was surprised how similar it is, but I love it. It is definitely a great opener. It properly sets up what they're doing.
Yeah, for me it was classic Nero. Like, I was listening to it and I started writing down like how I felt about the sound of Nero, and I went, they have such a unique sound. Like, if you heard a song by them you'd never heard before, and you didn't even know it was happening, you could just go Nero. I think it's like as recognizable as like the XX playing a song. Like, if you hear an XX song, you know what's going down. How do you feel about Circles?
I hated it. Right. This entire album.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it. Seriously. And I know that this entire show is going to be you two trying to convince me
about how much we love
this is
not
good.
Not necessarily.
Okay. I'm on board with that. However, Circles. I listened to it and I didn't think that it was anything more than the standard formula for dance music, electronic dance music. Yeah.
I'm going to go straight out and say it, because you've gone straight in with the hate it.
I have. I've gone in with I think it's terrible. I was
going to show a little love before I started shitting on them, like hardcore.
The only thing that I found enjoyable
Yep.
about Nero was that their production quality was good. However, the songs that they're producing, I think, are so bad.
Okay.
I think they're awful.
Okay.
I think Circles is one of the best songs on this album.
Circles is the best song on the album.
I will give Circles a 4 out of 10.
Whoa! That's some hate right there.
A 4 out of 10.
I give it 7 to 8, like out of 10.
The only way that I could enjoy this song is if I was drunk and in a club, and that is it. That is the only time, right?
But it's
I really, really like Alana's vocals
great.
on a lot of the songs. I love her vocals in general from like the last
Her
album.
style is nice.
Yeah, she's like I love the production they put on the processing
She
they put
doesn't
on her
always
vocals.
hit it off perfectly. Some songs it's a little less energy than some other songs, but on the ones where she hits it off, I feel like I had the phrase "it feels like a Nero hit."
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when it feels like Promises or Crush
yeah.
or
Guilt.
all of these sort of ones, and the vocals just hit it off, you're just like, yes, this is big and it has the energy and it's
You know, I've said that I like the production.
Hmm.
I like her vocals. However,
Yeah.
she is a good vocalist, but what she doesn't have is a particular type of voice that makes her memorable. So that means that if you want to do something interesting with a really good voice that it doesn't have its own character, you need to be singing about something or with something that's
Well, that's what-
incredibly interesting.
I think she's different from a lot of other like vocalists that just appear on like electronic music, in that the lyrics is good. It's like it's emotional. It's kind of sexy. It's not. I wrote here. It's not your run of the mill, hollow, vapid lyrics that just kind of you get on like chart topping electronic music.
I wrote
Although it went downhill very quickly.
I wrote here meaningless bullshit love lyrics.
Oh whoa!
I'm actually.
I thought they were awful. I thought they were
I'm
genuinely
not
terrible.
going to say that the lyrics are a huge thing on this album. It's some of them have some decent stuff, but most of it is quite simple, repetitive dance stuff. But it's well done.
All right, let's talk about Two Minds.
Yeah,
It
Two
seems
Minds.
to me to be the one that's going to make it to the
I
clubs.
really was interested in that song because firstly, I love the vocal work. I think it's great.
Mm.
But it's very. This is a thing, very much like what you were talking about last week with the
shit.
cock rock that comes on every like rock album. They have to have one sort of royal bloody cock
Yeah,
rock song.
this
just
was the
as
house song.
This was the pop generic deep house.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to be in there. It has to be. And they didn't do anything. It had a great vocal hook, which made me
Yeah, I've got that here as
put
well.
it up. But I think without having the vocal hook be so good, it was just generic deep house song, and
Yeah.
I think it was quite weak. It was like well done.
I think they got it right with the hook. I was like, this is like classic Nero. They can pull off the hook. I was gonna say like, they switch up the styles, the genres in this album.
Yes,
Like
Quite a bit.
randomly they attempted a trap song at one point, and it was just fucking awful. You're hearing house. You're hearing.
which one would you call a trap song?
There's one towards the end. I can't remember. Oh my god, there was Into the Night, which was like
Into the Pot.
Into the Night. it
Into
was
the
called.
night.
Is it
Yeah.
Into the Night? Oh, I wrote it down.
That's
Wow.
not the trap one. That's the fucking. They try and do this
Into the Night.
like
you should.
funky French
Oh.
Madion kind of house
Oh
music.
yeah, I love that.
And no,
I loved it. That was
it
great.
sounded terrible. Like they couldn't pull it off at all. I
No,
don't
we
think.
agree for once.
I thought-
It did sound terrible.
I thought that was great. I thought that was.
I don't think they
I
can put
thought
it
it was
off.
awful.
Songs.
I thought, once again, the lyrics are probably the the least authentic lyrics
I loved the
that
hook
I've
on that
heard
track.
all the
It was
years.
a good hook.
I liked kind of like the I can't remember the word, but I like the effective, simple lyrics. I like the concept. I like the concept of the song with the female and the male
I
vocalist.
thought the synth work on that track was really good. It was really interesting. It was much more upbeat than a lot of the other stuff, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a good, different like anchor point in the album. It was the upbeat, the sort of happier point, and I think they did it well because it wasn't exactly Madian style, but I think it had a nice.
Did you hear
difference
like when
to
he
it.
started doing that, like in between like beats, and it was painful for me to listen to. I was like,
they were definitely trying to do that style, which isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
They were definitely going for that style, but they
Also, it's
they
like,
did it in a
too
way where I
late,
was interested
man.
in it.
like that's been and gone. That like Madion doesn't even do that kind of shit too much now these days.
Yeah, he still does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his Adventure was only last year.
Oh, I guess so.
Adventure was only last year, yeah.
Hmm.
That's the thing that you forget because there was such a long run up to Adventure actually
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
released. I can see what you mean.
But
by
I think
not
even
being-
Madion's like
I think
evolving
it's
above that. He's doing like bigger and crazier things. He's not sticking with this lame
I
ass
thought his
production.
was a bit more interesting than a lot of the Madian stuff.
But I really loved the simple, effective lyrics. And as they say, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
All right, seeing as you guys don't like it as much as I, because I'm just gonna say I thought this was not to the level Welcome Reality, but I think it was a good follow-up. There were a few weaker points, but I like the Frill a lot. I think it's different and it's interesting. I'm slightly ruined by it because I prefer Porter Robinson's remix of it, but I liked it. It Comes and It Goes was my favourite track on the album.
Okay.
I think it was very much old, like sort of a modern version of old Nero style. Yes.
Really?
It was great.
I wrote that it was written by a 10-year-old but produced by Nero. That's what I thought about that song. I thought that it was, if you gave a 10-year-old any audio workstation and could fill in even Mario Paint. If you gave Mario Paint to a 10-year-old, right? And they knew a bit about production, they would write this song, give it to Nero, and they'd be like, cool, we're going to use exactly what you did and then produce it to make something better. Okay. And it came out with It Comes and It Goes.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not with Kit where I'm like, oh, the lyrics are so good. They have some nice hooks. They don't do a whole lot of like big writing stuff.
I never said the lyrics are so good. I said they were simple and effective.
But yeah,
in some of them,
that's exactly what
I liked. What they did with
it's not meant to be like a big lyrical thing. It's more about the synths. It's about
exactly
the big hit.
In that case, I would get rid of the lyrics entirely.
No,
I would. You're either going to include lyrics and have a great vocalist singing great lyrics, or you're going to get rid of it.
It's just simple and effective. I totally agree with Kit. It fits in there, it gives a good hype to it. Because if you just have every song, that's one of the parts. People hear songs and they hear the lyrics, and the lyrics is a good centre point. Hooks, right? So many songs have really simple, totally simple hooks. Think of even like Beatles. Hooks.
I agree
simple,
with simplicity.
Nothing else. And you just take that
simplicity
idea of the
to
simple
the point
hooks,
where it's terrible.
Take the simple hooks and then just take out the verses.
But
are you telling me that a 10-year-old would write It Comes and It Goes, but they couldn't write I Want to Hold Your Hand?
Yeah.
It's literally the same level. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand. I want to hold your hand.
That's the vocal hook.
Yes, this is a vocal hook.
But
it's the exact same thing.
I was talking about the entire song on It Comes and It Goes.
Yeah, but that's the point. It doesn't have like the verses because that's not the sort of music it is. It isn't the sort of music that has big sung verses.
How did you feel about the song Satisfy?
I really like Satisfy. I thought it had an awesome dark atmosphere.
Because I think like all I've got on the notes for that song is you could say it didn't quite satisfy me. To me, I've written it sounds like a failed Prodigy song.
The only thing I liked about it was that it had a dirty synth, and I quite like dirty synth.
Yeah, the synth was awesome.
That is it.
The synth was awesome. That's what I thought.
I also felt as though it literally took the first half of the song, copy and pasted, and that was the second half.
I feel like about that way a couple of songs.
That is definitely true. That is definitely true. But I think that is one of the sort of badder sort of cliches of dance music. The whole like part A and then part A, but slightly different.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really nice, atmospheric, big, awesome synth. I liked the sort of the style of that one. I liked Between Two Worlds. I love the break on that. With the sort of sampled vocals and the lead, awesome. They have some really nice leads on this this album. I want to go through some of the ones I love first, just to get them out here. Okay. If you like the sort of music, ones you should listen to, definitely. I like Circles, The Thrill was good. It Comes and It Goes was one of my favourites. Between Two Worlds, one of my favourites. I really liked Satisfy. And Tonight as well was really nice.
We didn't have like the same ones at all. My favourite songs were Circles, Two Minds, and Wasted. Those are my
Wasted was a nice ending.
I agree with that.
Those are the three best songs on the album.
I don't agree with Two Minds. What I agree with is Circles.
Yeah.
I would say The Thrill is just as good as Circles. I see like no difference between them.
Yeah,
they're so different. They're so different.
I think Circles is different from everything on the album.
They are.
You mean quality-wise? Or
quality-wise, they're the same.
They're so different as tracks, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, cool.
Can I talk about a song I really...
Well, let me just go through...
Flipping well didn't like.
These three. Let me go through three more. Right, so Between Two Worlds, I thought was okay as well.
That was great.
Into the Past Reboot was my favourite.
Okay.
Only because it was different. And it actually tried something new.
It was chill. I think there was so much different on this album.
But
there's so many different points from songs like Circles and songs like Satisfy, which are very sort of simple driving bass line based things. Things like the Thrill, which was
no one's mentioned Dark Sides.
Dark Sides I was getting to because I
Dark
think
Skies.
That is
Dark Sides.
Dark Sides.
It's
hilariously bad.
It's bad.
Hilariously so.
I like the lead.
Okay, this what?
It's alright.
No, that song is just lead, and it's terrible.
The bass is awful, and it's so repetitive.
Okay.
When I heard the lead, I was like, oh, that's cool. It could maybe do something with this, and then it didn't do anything.
That's what I read. When I first started listening to it, I went, oh, I think this could be a good one. After 30 seconds, I thought I'd rather cut my ears off than listen to that awful, grating synth.
I couldn't even write about it. I literally got to
angry.
this point, and I just said, I'm sorry, but this is just not worthy of being called an album.
There's a scratched in blood here, awful album.
That is the worst.
That is true as well.
That is one song. I, as someone who loves this album, would say that song, don't skip that song.
That is so terrible.
It's not interesting.
I hated it.
I don't think this album's going to do
But I like
amazingly
Wasted
well.
as well.
Yeah.
And by liked, I mean I thought it was moderately acceptable.
Oh, wow. Wasted, but that's another side of it. Wasted, it has Wasted and Into the Past, which are both sort of chill, more interesting, sort of not as big and dancey songs.
I feel as though Wasted, the only thing that I liked about it was that it tried to be good. It tried. It tried to be different. It wasn't great, but it was trying to be good. And the outro wasn't that strong, but it was trying to be strong. And that, I gave it points for effort. That's what that was. I gave it points for effort.
Wow. Let's try that.
Exactly.
Maybe next time.
Exactly. What I thought was the worst was What Does Love Mean? I thought that was the
What
worst
Does Love
song.
Mean was alright. It wasn't great though. I can deal with you with that.
It is genuinely, for me, a 1 out of 10 song.
Wow.
It is proper bad,
Wow.
in my opinion.
So that's offensively bad
It,
to you. That's what a 1 out of 10 probably means to
James. It's offensively bad.
Yeah.
It spends a good
I think
minute.
this is going to happen with a lot of dance albums that we review.
Possibly.
No,
Possibly.
man. Like,
Not necessarily, though.
I give an honest opinion. Well, you can work with James specifically, or
with James specifically.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I felt as though nothing happened for the first minute of the song, and that is a quarter of the song.
I'm trying to see which one did you think was a trap song?
Oh yeah. Tonight. Yeah, I feel like it could have been so much more because they're such awesome producers. There's no getting away from the fact that they know how to produce. They got some serious producing under their belts, as you could say. It just felt like they're doing trap for the sake of trap. I got here written in quoted Babby's first trap song.
I didn't think of it as a trap song, which is interesting because I always think that doing trap for the sake of trap is just like the house thing, a thing that a lot of producers do fall into, which can be really awful.
Yeah.
But when I heard it, I didn't go, oh, this is a trap song for being trap. I thought there was a lot more to it than just sort of...
For me, it felt like they were way too timid on it. Like they were trying to trap up their dubstep, but failing horribly.
Really?
I felt like
Okay.
I could make something better.
I thought that was great. I thought that was a great song.
Really?
Yeah.
The problem with Tonight for me was
I felt
it
like a Nero
followed
hit to me.
Into the Past Reboot, which was my favourite. So when I listened to Tonight, it immediately went back down to being as formulaic as I could possibly imagine. And I gave it a 2.
Now, I don't think this album's going to do
saying
very well.
formulaic.
Yeah, I am. I'm saying formulaic.
Some of this gets a bit formulaic, but I don't think, like, from a structure point, a lot of it's formulaic. I'll give you that. But apart from that, I don't think much of this is super formulaic.
I think
There are
it
bits
is.
like Two Minds, Cheers, and a few of them that are like more of their older ones. Circles is pretty formulaic for their sort of style.
I just felt like with this album, they weren't bringing anything new to the table.
Exactly.
Nothing fresh.
Exactly.
It wasn't exciting enough to be a new electronic...
That was one of my big problems with it.
They said,
was
how
that-
are we going to make a song? We're going to get the structure that we want, then we're going to fill it in with some big sounds, some big, well-produced bass.
Which is what Nero
Well,
does.
yeah.
That is
They-
Nero.
They
That-
just get big sounds
was
and they
definitely
fill
my
it
problem.
in the gaps.
That is definitely
and
my
that's
problem,
formulaic.
that like a lot of the songs, even the ones I did like, were very much like, I liked them because they sounded like older Nero stuff. Which is
Sure,
definitely the
they
problem
used
on
some
this.
good synths. They used some great
Yeah, I
sounds,
love their sounds.
but they didn't do anything interesting with them. That was my problem. Nero were really good at getting the sound just how they want it to be. But what they were doing with that sound, I thought was absolutely terrible. Okay.
I heard little touches on the album every now and again that I enjoyed, that I thought, that's the Nero I know and love. But I just feel like the album's not really relevant anymore. Dubstep isn't really that relevant anymore.
But they were never like generic dubstep. They had some of
That's true.
their more hits were more that sort of style, but they never did the style that was super, super popular.
Yeah, that's what I was
And I
going to
feel
say
like
next.
the style of it that was super popular that they did do, all of that stuff that was sort of the sort of hit stuff that fitted into the stuff at the time, is the stuff that's been replaced with the deep house sounding track and those sort of things, and some of the other stuff. But I think the more chill tracks were still like their old stuff still stood up to some of the, not as much. I don't think the chill stuff was as good as the chiller stuff on their old album.
Yeah.
But some of the bigger Nero-y stuff, I think was good Nero.
I enjoyed some little bits because, you know, like writing a good hook and a good like vocal line, that's always relevant, no matter what you do.
Totally. And they do that
Did you
well.
not feel as though they did it once per song and that was it? They wrote one hook and then they used that every chorus,
sort
and
of-
then the verse was
sort
just
of how
building
it
into
works.
the chorus?
Sort of how a hook works.
Yeah, but you literally only got one thing that
I
for me stood
only
out.
thought there was a few good hooks on the album, vocally.
For me, it
Don't
felt
say
as
a ton,
though
but
they
I
were
think that's a
building
good
it
number. I
around
think
the
that's
chorus,
4
and
or
that was
5.
it. And that's exactly what their type of music is tailored to, but you shouldn't be building songs around one particular element of the song. It should be a full song.
Yeah.
You can have some really great electronic music, which is really good to dance to and is really enjoyable for everyone, that isn't solely built for that purpose and can be enjoyed otherwise. I feel as though if you're going to like the music on this album, you'll like it when you're in a club or when you're at a festival. I think festival music, this is good.
One of
this
the
is club
reasons-
music at all,
but
festival, yeah,
With Nero, one thing where
Two minds
they
get
will
played,
succeed is that they deliver a really badass live show. Like they did
Really?
so
Yeah.
much touring and they did it so well. They pulled it off so nicely.
But for that reason, I'm not willing to call this an album. I'm
have-
calling this a compilation of songs that they're going to play live.
No, I think that's unfair. I think
I do not feel as though this started as an album, then had its moments of going up and down, and then ended as an album. It was just a collection of songs for me. That's all it was for me.
Okay, let's do it. Let's
do it.
marks out of 10 on this album. Let's wrap it up.
I'd like to hear Gareth first.
8.
8.
I really liked it, man. I really liked it. It's the sound of Nero that I really liked, and I didn't think there were as many weak points as you thought. I thought the weak
But-
moments were the Deep House track, Two Minds, and Dark Sides.
But you gave Tame Impala Currents a 9, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is this one mark lower than a Tame Impala?
Yeah.
Really?
I really liked that.
Okay.
And it might be, I'll give you this, it might be partially because I really like Nero and like that sound. I loved the sound of the first album, and the parts of this where it goes back to that sound, I love.
I love Nero as well, but I have to be objective about this. I'm going to give it a 4, maybe a 5 on a good day.
Wow. Okay.
How do you feel about this, buddy?
I'm giving this album a 3.
Oh.
Maybe a 2
On a bad day.
on a bad day. But today, I'm going to give it a 3. I didn't think much of it at all. I would never listen to it again.
Okay, well, that's our opinion. I'm Kit Campbell. That guy's Gareth, the 8 guy. It's Gareth. So this is James.
The 3.
Yeah. And the Sonic Squeeze. Signing off. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. 8!
I didn't think you would like it, but I didn't think you would think it was awful. I thought you'd give it like a 5 or a 6. I thought you would like it with me. I thought you would give it like a 7.
You know what? I was disappointed and I was hurt. I feel like they let me down personally.
It definitely wasn't as good as the first one. You can all fuck off now. This is after the thing.